Welcome everyone, I'm Roberta Dowling and I'm the owner, director, and founder of the Cambridge School of Culinary Arts. And what I have here is some boiling water, and I have some leaf spinach. This is already been stemmed, and I'm going to add a little salt, just a pinch, and toss that up a little bit. And as soon as the leaves cook down, I'm going to puree it. I think we're almost there. So I'm going to take my tongs and remove the cover and basically take the spinach and put it directly into the food processor. Reserve some of the water just in case you need more. Usually when you do it this way, you don't need any more, and the reason being that obviously there was a little bit of water in here to begin with, probably around a cup, just a cup to steam the spinach, and so that's what we're going to do. We'll go from there, and we'll have a nice puree. As I said earlier, I did add some salt to the spinach. Now I'm going to put my cover back on and basically just turn it. You might want to pulse it a little bit in the beginning, which turns the machine on and off. And basically what it does is whatever you're pureeing kind of throws it around up and down, so that, and then you can go back to just putting it on and letting it go. Let it go. I'm going to shut it and look at it. Now, when you look at it, if you see a lot of leaves in there, that's when you're going to have to come back and say, gee, I think it needs a teeny bit more water. So I'm just going to throw a teeny bit more water in there because you actually want a puree. You want the consistency of baby food. In fact, I should tell you something that you probably could see and go buy baby food as long as it's pure and doesn't have any preservatives and additives to it, and probably make a spinach pasta with spinach baby food. I haven't done it, but it certainly could work. Good. All right, just a little bit more. And then I'm going to put it through what's called a sieve, or a tammy in French. That's spelled T-A-M-I-S. They sell these in, obviously, gourmet shops. I like it because it's nice and wide and you can put it over a bowl. And you have plenty of room to move your puree around. So, with that, I'm going to remove my puree. And you can see that I have that a little bit there at a time. In order to get it very, 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 very pure and very pureed, without any leaf in it as well, I'm going to take a bench scraper. It's plastic. If you do buy a tammy, such as this, and it has a screen, you don't want to use a bench scraper that is made of metal, because the metal could absolutely tear the tammy. So very quickly, I'm just going to go through this, and you always go in the same direction to get the puree to go through. And every once in a while, you kind of come underneath and scrape it from the bottom of the tammy. As you can see, it's just falling right into the pot. And I'll continue to sieve it. Well, now I'm going to make some pasta. I have here approximately 3 cups of flour, and I'm going to make a well in the flour. I have 2 eggs. When you make pasta, you have to be careful that of the moisture content. And if you have too much moisture, your pasta is going to be very, very sticky, and you're going to obviously have a problem. You can always correct it by putting it in a food processor and adding more flour, but it becomes a little bit of a nuisance. So I'm going to beat my eggs right in the well, and then I'm going to add some spinach puree to it. The other thing I like to do is to add a little bit of salt in my flour, just scattered around. Now remember that I put some salt into my spinach, but it's not quite enough, okay? So we do have 3 cups of flour here, and that's quite a bit. At this point, I'm going to take some of this puree, and I'm going to put it right into my eggs. And you can see I'll mix it up again, beat it up as if I was scrambling some eggs, and we'll go from there. And as you beat this, what happens is you gradually break down the perimeter of the well, of the flour, okay, and bring these walls down into the flour. See, and I'm going to end up using, as it turns out, the rest is a little bit more puree in here, and I'm going to end up using it all because I want a nice, rich green color. And a little darker, which is always nice. This could also be made with kale or another vegetable if you want a different color green, and that's always fun as well. Now I'm going to get my bench press and basically bring this in. And you keep working it in till it gets amalgamated into the dough. And at this point, just so you know, you can see I can squish this, you know, and it's pretty soft. This part is a little bit drier, so I might decide to take another egg, because it is so dry, and break it in here, beat it up, you can see that, and it still has some little bit of puree left in there. And I don't know that I'm going to use all of it. I'm just going to see how it feels. That's the most difficult part about pasta dough, is you kind of have to have a feel for it, but it's easy. Once you do it, you get the knack of it. It's really quite easy. And I'm going to knead it till I get a nice smooth dough. You take your softer pieces and you incorporate it into the dough. And you knead. And you want to knead it till it gets very soft and smooth. Okay, I've been kneading this about 10 minutes, maybe even a little bit more. You want to make sure that the dough is nice and smooth. My grandmother used to say that it should look like a baby's bum or feel like a baby's bum. And so once it's kneaded, it has to rest. So the reason being is that when you take flour in liquid, you develop what's called gluten. And when you develop gluten, it becomes very elastic. You want some elasticity to your pasta, but you also want it to rest to break down that gluten and to let it just subside a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. Another wonderful trick that I learned in Italy is that when you determine if the pasta has been kneaded sufficiently, is you take a knife and you cut it in half. And you see that? It's absolutely perfectly smooth. I don't see any little air bubbles in it whatsoever, which indicates to me that the pasta is ready to rest.